Hello learners, welcome to the new presentation series on Git. My name is B.S. Satyadev. I am an assistant professor in VNR VJEC. Before talking about Git, I would like to talk about a problem that I had faced long ago. When I started my development back in 90s, so the problem was how to how to save the code. Now, when I develop an application, the application cannot be done in one day, right? The application needs to be done the development of application could take multiple number of days. Now, what happens is that when I at the end of the day, what I used to do is I save my code, take a backup of that file. For example, there is like first.c. I used to write code in C language. First.c. I take a backup of that file first.c underscore the date and I store it in a separate place. The next day, again, I used to at the end of the day I used to store that file in the same in a different folder in the same folder with underscore the date. So date wise I used to store. Why I was doing that? If you ask me that question, the answer was if something wrong has been done in the later version, but whereas things were working in the older version of that file, then I could take that and use it, right? So that's the intent of it. So this is all being done manually. And also, once my development is done, if somebody else wants to use my code, physical code, not the application, then all I need to do is just zip it up and send it to them or put it in a common place. This is how we used to do. So basically, code backing up and code sharing is done manually. Now, this is a prevalent problem in the software industry. So for that, there is a software tool invented called the version control system. Now, JIT is a version control system. Whether to pronounce Git or JIT, if there is a dilemma, the actual pronunciation is Git, whereas some people do pronounce a JIT, which is also okay. Now let's see what is version control system and what are its features. Now, version control system. A version control system is a software tool that helps developers manage and track changes to files, code, or projects over time. It keeps a detailed history of modifications, allowing users to collaborate, revert to previous versions, and identify who made specific changes and when. So this is what a version control system. I think you can definitely relate to the problem I was talking about earlier. All I was doing manually was doing a version control system. However, manual way of doing has got some issues. Those issues are, for example, my hard disk collapsed. I cannot go back to the folder. For some reason, accidentally I remove the backup of those files. I cannot get back to those files again. Similarly, I have given this code to somebody else. They made some more modification and I asked them to send me back those modifications. Let's say they forget to do that. Then I don't have the same copy of that. So collaborating with other people is difficult. Similarly, there are issues like saving a file could make the file vulnerable for deletion and hard disk issues. So manual way of doing is not a good way. So that's the reason there are tools invented for managing the versions. Now, what is a version? A version is nothing but a slightly different copy of the old version of old file. Let's say there is a file, let's say 1.txt, right? 1.txt, which contains, today I typed ABC in that file and saved it. So that is the version number 1. Tomorrow I came and typed DEF in the same file and saved it again. Now this is version number 2. So in version number 1, ABC is there. In version number 2, ABC DEF is there. So like that the version progress. After some time, I want to go back to the second version, that is ABCDEF. I can just go back, pick up that file and use it. So version is very, very important because if you want to go back to a particular state of the file in the past, it can be useful. So that's what a version control system is. Now, what are the key features of VCS? VCS is nothing but version control system. As I already told, change tracking. Every change made to a file is recorded, creating a timeline of edits. Second one is collaboration. Multiple people can work on the same project simultaneously without overwriting each other's work. Well, the system I was talking about, manual system, it doesn't have collaboration. Change tracking, yes, I did manually, but it doesn't have a good collaboration of this. But version control systems are supposed to provide collaboration as well. The next feature is backup and recovery. If a mistake is made, previous version can be restored easily. Well, in my case, in my example that I used to do, it is okay to get it, but sometimes if I forget to save that file for a particular day and just do it after 2 days or 3 days, then how do I know that I want to go back to the particular day? It's not possible, right? So manual way of doing things is always have problematic issues. So backup and recovery is not, can't be done is not a good way of doing if you do it manually. Similarly, branching and merging. Now, this is something that's very difficult with manual way of doing branching and merging. What is branching? Branching is nothing but you are working on a file or multiple files, doesn't matter, file, and suddenly you want to keep that file as it is, but you want to take a copy of that file and work on that file, and somebody else also going to work on the same file on a different with different kind of such changes. After some time, we want to mingle both those changes together. That's called merging. Branching means you take a copy of file and work on it, whereas the same copy used by somebody else and they are using that copy of that file. So that's called multiple branches. And once the branches have been made, it's most of the time it is required to merge them. So branching and merging go together. Thank you very much.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.